Hello, what's the crack? How's it going? You're all very welcome to episode 76. We're back with Buckshot after a fucking mad week last week. We're back with a Buckshot episode 76 for Friday the 28th of the 9th, 2018. I'm even a little late in the day for this one, but just been flat out this morning. This one is quite literally going to go up in the next 20 minutes from when I'm recording it right now. Flat out this morning. Had to pick up foreign currency. We're going on a little holiday next week. Don't worry. I have the podcast and all ready to go for that one, so there'll be no missing anything with that. It's only adverse weathers and shite like that kind of knocks it on the head. But yeah, you're all very welcome. If this is your first time, go ahead and hit subscribe. This is a good crack. Go back and listen to some of the other podcasts. Excuse the dog in the background here. Sweet Jesus Christ. I wish I did set this up for filming. I wear a lot of camo and real tree camo, but the dog, with autumn being autumn, is actually real tree right now. She has more oak leaves hanging off her, and she's just biting them all out of her. So you may hear the dog just fucking chomping away at her own legs. Who doesn't want to hear that? Do you know what I mean? That's radio gold. That is podcast. Give it a fucking rest, dog, will you? Jesus Christ. Fucking hell. I know, this is another podcast. This is some way to start a podcast, isn't it? I won't stay long. Thank you very much to all the folks at Patreon. Still donating. A couple of donations have come in. New people have signed up. This is fantastic. Patreon essentially keeps it's the whole thing that makes this show take really. And because a direct result of it, within the next week or two, some fun stuff has been purchased. We've collaborated with now. I'm not going to say anything, because as I told you before in this business, lads, you get your arse handed to you in 2 seconds. As soon as you get ahead of yourself, you think, we're in like Flynn, lovely stuff, we're off to the races. Then bang, all of a sudden the plug gets pulled on you, and that's just how it is in this business. But do you know what? I'm quite excited that we're going to be collabing. Buckshot is collabing with hopefully a new venue, and I'll have new sound equipment as a direct result of the fucking lovely people, both at this venue and Patreon. So the gear will sound even creamier. Lovely. And like that, we're going to be fucking live streaming as well. Hopefully, that's the plan. It's a live stream, making this much cooler. So we've have a bunch of guests coming up that are going to be fairly tasty. Everybody's tasty in their own right. I don't want to take away the tastiness of anybody. Just some people are different than others. Just some people are for the love of fuck, dog. There's now a pile of oak leaves. Okay, fair enough. I hope you know how to fucking hoover, dog. Fucking hell tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to a few purchases have been made from the Tea Republic shop. People have bought cups, two hoodies went to America, it would seem. So fair play. Lovely stuff. Delighted you love the stuff. I'm good. If anybody feels inspired, wants to collab on the whole thing, if there was something down along the lines, I see the guys from Gordo, from those conspiracy guys, he's had people who are good at art or whatever, and just things that have come up, or funny stuff that has come up during the podcast that people like. People actually illustrated, drew a picture of what they were talking about or whatever it is. So if there's anything that anybody's arty wise, send it on. Let's collab and let's make. I'm saying collab like I'm 18 years of age DJ. What am I fucking doing? Collaborate. What the fuck am I doing with myself? Okay. So yeah, it's we can split the 50 cents we make on each thing. Be awesome. But more than anything, we'll get your image out there. Thank you very much. I'll put the description in the link in the description of this. If you want to go have a look at Patreon basically, I'll give you, if you want to have your name shouted out, people seem to want to be anonymous for some reason, but if you want to have your name shouted out, I absolutely will. If you want to join the old Patreon gang, if you feel the old podcast is worth a couple of quid to you, even $2, sling it out there and see what you know what I mean. It's all going directly towards sound equipment and actually keeping the lights on here at Buckshot Towers, as they say. Also, and we are technically, I suppose, we are kind of brought to you by the Wild Irish Game Company for all your game needs. They didn't send me over any reads or anything like that. All I'm saying is that anybody who knows me, and there's a couple of people after already hooking up with them, I think they're getting stuff sent out to them. have a look. You heard me talking about venison, you heard me talking about wild rabbit, hare, pheasant, duck, all the usual stuff. They have mental meats as well, like python, crocodile, ostrich. You'll see them popping up in the shops too. They'll be popping up all over the place. I know they're in Super Value, they're probably in Dunn's, but they do online sales too. Give them a look. Wild Irish Game Company. You can't really go wrong. The stuff is wild Irish game. There you go. If you've ever been curious about what a fucking duck tastes like that was actually not farmed, or what a piece of venison tastes like, because you've heard me talk about it so often, give them a look. And I'm not doing any more real talking. Like I said, a couple of big pods coming up, the live stuff coming up. Keep looking at the Tom O'Mahony comedy page, because that way I'll be probably streaming live. But like that, follow me on Twitter too, tomomahony.com, because I'll keep you updated as to that. And probably on Instagram. I had a fucking mighty crack. Did a 7.5, almost 8 hour podcast with Gordo from fucking Those Conspiracy Guys the other night. And it was some heavy stuff we were doing. So it was great to actually fucking see, could my brain actually stand up to like, sit down, dog, sit yourself down now. Sit yourself down now, you're getting too giddy. It was good to see that I could actually do, my brain wouldn't actually cave in on itself. It didn't. We had some good crack. I don't think it'll be out until like January or whatever, because Gordo is just stockpiling now before he goes to America. Most of the people listen to this probably do listen to him as well. And you know the crack there that he's off to America. Give them a look, because he is, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Like, you won't, like, it has to be the most leading cutting edge on when it comes to podcasts. And give it a fucking gander. You won't be sorry. Pick out what episode you like the look of, and you'll see what I'm talking about. If you haven't listened to it, that's Those Conspiracy Guys. Like I said, we're off on a little holiday. We're going to the Czech Republic for 4 days, into the middle of the forest to a fucking spa where phones nor nothing, I'm hoping, won't work. I'll tell you all about it next week. I'll have a ramble pod never before I go, but that's the exciting things. Anyway, moving on to today's guest, a very good friend of mine, Jim Elliott. He's been doing comedy a little longer than me. Jim is just a stalwart. And he's one of those 110% blokes, like really nice guys from Washington, D.C. He played in, I'm not sure what music video it was, but he played the lawyer or the accountant of the Rubber Bandits. He was in their music video. Down, dog. Down you go. Nope. They're all covered in fucking wet shit. Down you go. Christ almighty, I'm trying to intro Jim here. You're making a holy fucking show of me. Relax, will you? He's just a cracking funny fucker. And a really, really hell of a nice guy. You're going to enjoy the shit out of him. Please go crazy for the fantastic Jim Elliott. Can I have a look at that, actually? Yeah. So what does... To the podcast listeners, this is absolutely fucking no use, but Jim has shown me the new thing that sticks to the back of your phone, which I thought was a thing for wrapping your headphones around.
Which, like, I guess you could.
Because I saw somebody doing it, and that was the first answer, and I just saw loads of girls holding it, and
it's a very girly thing.
Well, it looks like a doorknob on the back.
It looks like a doorknob on the back of your
I
thing.
can see when you showed me it sits upright.
All the way out like that, and you can lean your phone down so you can watch TV on it. But like, it's just so you can hold your stupid phone better, because these are €600 computers that we carry in our pockets, but they make them out of the slickest material imaginable, so it's really easy to drop.
Well, it's like the shit we were talking about earlier when we were in Jim's apartment, because we had gone to Go-Town show, which I announced on Instagram, but we got to on show, and there was an improv, which we had as comedians who played there, and you're playing on Wednesday night.
I'll be there on Wednesday. I was there last Wednesday. I had no idea.
How long have we been playing there? At
least 10 years.
Yeah.
And there's improv there twice a week, Sunday and Monday. 2 improv shows at this. All right, sure, I guess.
But he said it's so, like, the barman was like, no, lads, very matter of factly, like, it's well known.
Well, then maybe they should advertise.
But you know what the thing about improv groups is that they just bring their own echo chamber with them everywhere, really, don't they? Typically, it's not... I
mean, yeah, if you're into improv, you're into improv. There's not a lot of people that, like... And here's the thing, there's not a lot of people even... Like, let's not kid ourselves, Tom. Not a lot of people are into comedy.
Yeah, I know.
But improv isn't even...
I really like Michael McIntyre. Do you like him? Do you do stuff like him?
Yeah, I do. I do. The guy with the floppy hair. I love him.
But that's what you normally get. Like, who would be your favourite? Now, do you know who my favourite is?
Yeah, no, I don't. I can just rattle off 6 guys that you've never heard of.
Yeah. Yep. Because the improv thing, have you gotten caught in the improv web in the... What's it called? The Battle of the Axe?
Nope.
Never got caught in that? The last 2 times I was hosting it.
I don't know anywhere near that place.
Lo and behold... I could quite literally, not just one hand, 2 fingers in the last 5 years how many times I've actually done the Battle of the Axe.
And both times you got improv groups there?
And they go on and fucking on and fucking on.
Who I think it's not my line. It's either I think it's Neil Brennan's, but he's talking shit about improv, and he's like, I think the problem with most improv jokes is that they could use a rewrite, and I think that's like, I don't know, man. Here's the thing: I have seen it done like once in my life. I saw it done really well.
Yeah,
and all 5 people on the stage were just in tune with each other, and they clearly practice all the time. And I think what it is that it takes so much work to get to that level that every other piece of improv I've ever seen, I've been like, you guys are kidding yourself.
But then how improv-y is it if you're working together? So, you know what I mean?
But I don't think they were written lines. I think they were just like, we trust each other not to go for the gag in the first 2 minutes, and we're going to set it up, and we're going to build the stakes and raise them and raise them and raise them and raise them, and then somebody's going to take a swing at the ball, and it'll be fucking massive.
Right. I suppose like anything, if you are flat out in it, but there does seem to be a kind of a. I mean, people seem to dip their toe in the water of improv. Like I was on a film shoot, an ad shoot a couple of weeks ago, and a guy was telling me that he was a comedian, and he was from Belfast, very nice chap, but he kind of half recognised me. He says, "Did you do a bit yourself one time?" I said, I did, yeah, I did a bit myself, yeah. But he was a typical actor. He was so self-involved in his. He didn't know anybody in the game at all. He knew nothing, no place. Dude, they do comedy there. And
they do, dude.
They've been doing it in the Empire quite a while now, yeah.
Twice a week for the last 25 years.
Yeah.
So, yes, a little bit.
But it turns out when it was improv, is what the fuck he was talking about.
Okay.
Oh, right.
All right.
Okay, all right.
I don't know, man.
Because I saw it, I remember the first ever time I saw it, it was 2001. We were in Key West in Florida.
Oh my God! Oh no!
We weren't in Key West. It was another place.
That's Florida.
It was Florida.
Okay, you can stop right there. That's all we need to know.
I was 19. I was having a great time.
Of course,
these people were quite good. I remember they were quite good, and they were looking for odd jobs as they do. You know, can you throw us up an odd job? And there was people saying shit like, cat groomer, lizard fucking brush. And I put up my hand because the first odd job I could think of was one of a chap that I actually knew had it, and he was an artificial insemination specialist for pigs.
The guy with oh my God! Okay, you're gonna say pigs. I've seen the videos of the dudes doing. I've downloaded all the videos of the dudes doing the horses where they got to get their whole arm up in there. That's nuts, dude.
Yeah.
You country people are something else.
Tell you.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, when the apocalypse comes, it's going to be people like you that survive.
Oh, we'll be fine.
Yes,
we'll be absolutely
fine. You
fine.
won't even notice.
I probably won't, though, Jim.
Yeah.
I got it.
It'd be like, my podcast is awfully slow uploading. What the hell is going on? Stupid Podbean.
You see, this is the thing. I claim to be all tough and country, and I think I am in my head every so often. And people, especially
until you meet.
Yeah.
Well, you're sitting across from me with my lily white hands.
Yes.
Who've never done a day's hard labor in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Like I can.
And that's it. People like.
I remember the day I figured out how when you take the top off the back of the toilet and there's the thing that floats and it holds up. It holds up. Yeah. When I was able to teach myself how that worked one time.
Did you go?
Because I lived.
Did you YouTube a tutorial?
This was before the internet. It was my freshman year in college, and the toilet had stopped flushing, and I took the top off the back of it. And I was like, "Oh, that chain is supposed to attach to this handle, because the lever action will pull it up." I felt like a genius. I immediately sprung a massive erection.
I see how we built the pyramids now.
Exactly. Yeah, and that. But I can't do anything, dude. Like this is a rented apartment that you're in right now. Anything breaks in here, I gotta call a guy. I don't know how to do nothing in here, dude. I don't know how to do anything. Like
it is handy.
And I might take more pride in it, and I might learn how to do some shit if I owned a house. I definitely would.
You definitely would.
I definitely would. You would. But right now, I'm like, no, I'm gonna call a guy because I'm not paying for it. Somebody else is gonna pay for it, and I don't care. And I'll sit here on my ass while somebody else fixes the boiler.
Well, that's the other side too. Like, I mean, there comes a time and a place where it's good to. I'm happy to delegate. I'm very happy to delegate. But if it's this handy thing that I can turn my hand to, yeah. Because I grew up like our house was very much. When I grew up in the 80s, you didn't call a guy.
No, because your dad knew how to do it, and his dad knew how to do it even better.
Yeah.
So And that's like that level of knowledge in my family, I think, is going to die out with my dad. Because my dad is a doctor, but he grew up working construction. He was outside of Boston, so he could fix crap.
Yeah.
He had a workbench in his garage. He's the last Elliott that will own a workbench.
Jesus.
I'm not. My brother's a lawyer in Manhattan. My little brother's he works some kind of financial regulator in D.C. They're not going to own workbenches.
No.
If something needs sawing, they're going to call a guy, and the guy will come in and do it. And he'll come back from work at 6 p.m. and be like, "How'd it go today?" And the guy will be brushing his hands off in the driveway and be like, "Went pretty good." That's it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we were talking about it recently, and it was we were just talking about how we ended up in college. And it was myself and the wife. We were talking, how did you end up doing? She did journalism and whatnot.
Yep.
I did civil engineering. It seemed to be a thing that people were going into at the time, because construction was 99. Construction was absolutely ripping.
You're not getting back in the game right now, dude.
Nah, fuck that.
It's cresting.
Listen, I tell you, Jim, I aged.
Yeah, okay.
In the 9-10 years. Like, my stress levels couldn't deal with it anymore. And it was war all day, every day. 8 o'clock in the morning till 8-10 o'clock at night.
Did you ever have like an office job, a cubicle and 2 computer screens?
7 months.
Deborah in human
7
resources?
months.
7 months. What was the gig?
I was working for an insurance loss adjusting firm.
Right. Okay.
And but the fuckers, they tricked me into it. When I fucking went for the gig, they needed. You
told me you needed me to build a shed.
But they needed construction know-how, right?
Oh,
technical construction
yes.
know-how.
I know the business.
And they went, this is gonna fucking, Jesus Christ, we're gonna be the best adjusters in the fucking country. We're taking on our own engineer. Yeah. Because these guys were going.
They have no idea. Some guy walks in and he's missing a hand, and he can tell them anything happened because none of them have ever seen. You're like, well, the concrete didn't start flowing because you guys aren't at that point yet. Like you knew that.
Yeah.
That's why they.
Well, what they were was normally household domestic claims. So somebody would go, so this fucker backs into my fucking driveway, right, with a fucking truck, and he takes off half my house.
Right.
And I go out and I go, no, you fucking didn't.
You took off your screen door.
That house has been falling down for the last 25 years. I can see moss growing in the cracks that you said. And for the first 2 months, it was great. That's my only gig. I wasn't filling out any fucking forms. I wasn't actually doing any claims or anything.
You're doing field work. You're just going, that guy's lying, that guy's telling the shit.
I was writing my own reports for him. There you go. You handled all the fucking shit. The shit talk after this.
You talk to the computers.
But then slowly but surely it started to... No, I say slowly, really quickly it started because there had been a bad storm and some bad weather. Freezing. The heavy frost of like... When would this have been? This is ridiculous. Like, Ireland had hit temperatures that never hit, like -20 and shit.
The heavy frost of 97. It was like... You sound like an old man when you talk like that. You know that?
I'm going to hang on to that phrase too. It was the heavy frost.
Do you remember the heavy frost?
The big freeze.
Not the snow... Not the ice, the heavy frost.
Heavy frost. We underplay things in Ireland. It's
of course,
so many comedians have had jokes about, how other people talk about their wars and their massacres and stuff, and like 30 years...
Hurricane Andrew.
30 years of war trouble in fucking the north where like 50,000 people died, and it was just known as the Troubles, But
what did you guys call World War One? Was it the incident?
No,
the disturbance?
The emergency.
The emergency.
Yeah.
We had a bit of an emergency.
Yeah.
The rest of the world called it the Great War.
Yeah, emergency.
It's an emergency.
Emergency. Same way as if, like that, Jim's fucking toilet wasn't working.
Yeah, that's an emergency.
Yeah, there you go.
I only got the one.
But I lasted 7 months.
So then the Great Frost hit.
And they were like, fuck, Tom, we're going to need you on this game. We're going to train you up real quick.
We got a backlog of cases. You got to enter up.
And I just went with it.
Software system.
And then one fucking email after another. I'm like, hold on. We've got to get to A to fucking B, and you fuckers are sticking in paragraphs and fucking subplots in between. Let me just get the fucking job done.
Yep. Oh my god.
And that was when I remember talking to you about, Tom, you need to be able to just swallow red tape.
Yes.
I went, no. In construction,
your job is to swallow the tape.
Yeah.
You don't actually produce anything. I've been working in cubicles my whole damn life, and if it can be done sitting behind a keyboard, I can do it. And it's you have to zen out on it and just go, okay, well, this is the job. This is not an obstacle to me completing the job. The thing that they're paying me to do is deal with this horse shit. And I'm going to plug something to your... Because you got people listening to this that are sitting in their cubicles right now.
Oh, yeah. Tons of people. Yeah.
Google this essay that I'm handing Tom a book right now, that the essay went viral 5 years ago, and the guy wrote a book on the back of it. David Graeber is his name.
Graeber.
David Graeber, but you're just going to have to Google Bullshit Jobs, a Theory. And this guy is an anthropologist from London. And his whole thing was, he was going around to all these, dinner parties or whatnot in London. He's a dude in his 30s, like all of them.
Yeah.
And he was going to, and he'd meet people like me, cubicle monkeys like me.
Yeah.
And eventually they go, so what do you do? And I would go, I work in risk management. And he'd go, that sounds interesting. What is that? And I go, it's nothing, dude. I sit in a fucking cubicle and I listen to my balls shrink. And he goes, and then they go, what do you do? And he goes, I'm an anthropologist. And people would go, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
And blah, 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 blah. And he wrote this essay. He's like, I meet these guys. They make 10 times the money I do. They all think their job is bullshit. They all think, honestly, that if they were to disappear, that the world would be just fine.
Yeah.
You can't say that about nurses. You can't say that about garbage collectors.
No.
You can't say that about construction workers. You can say that about most accountants. You can say that about most auditors, about most managers, about most compliance people. And that's the whole theory of the book. Bullshit Jobs, David Graeber. Google it right now. We're not sponsored by him, but it's the best nonfiction book I read in the last 2 years. That's incredible.
That's the thing. Well, you see, I could have even dealt with that for a while, but it was the fucking acidity levels of nastiness.
See, now that sucks.
The business is a terrible business to be in.
Yeah.
This is the premise. You have an insurance claim.
Yeah. Something bad happens. I've been paying this insurance my whole life. People are supposed to have my back right now.
So the insurance company aren't allowed, really, the odd ones can get away with it. The insurance company themselves are not allowed to send out their own assessor, right?
Huh.
Yeah. So what they're you're not really, like, some of them have their own assessors, but really,
okay,
because the game's tilted.
rigged, yeah.
So
guy who works for me is going to say no.
Yeah.
And guy who works for you is going to say yes.
But the ombudsman has brought in, is that for fairness, there has to be a separate third party.
This is the whole theory behind bullshit jobs. That needless regulation just creates these classes of employees that didn't exist before. You can call it bullshit. You can call it civilization. I don't know. If you're a super capitalist, you're going to go with the latter. But I think we should burn it all down. So yeah.
So essentially, then what is supposed to happen is a loss adjuster who's supposed to adjust it in the favor of fairness across the board.
Fairness.
Because the premise of an insurance company is, since the 1666 Great Fire of London is when insurance started, and the idea being is that, listen, lads, we can't have this again. We haven't a pot to piss in. Let's all put a little few quid in the pot.
Yep.
And when one of us needs to get back in the game because we just got fucked over, we take a little bit out of that pot and bring you back to where you were. Good. Then the premise went fucking sideways and money started coming in. But anyway,
exactly.
What happens is, who pays the adjusters?
Both parties?
No.
Who?
They go straight to the insurance companies. So if you're working for the big dog who's telling you, really go out and give him a fair result.
Yes, take 6 days. And you're like, dude, this is just going to take a morning. Hey, Tom, you want to be sure. You want to be fair, don't you? You call me on Tuesday. Yeah. And you will have 87 billable hours in there. And my God.
The game was still rigged. It was just a third party. And then, of course, what the person you're supposed to advise the person to do is them hire their own independent assessor.
Oh, good. So that's another guy with a bullshit job.
We talk about fucking bullshit back and forth. We know each other because we meet each other on every second claim. And you're going, look, I'm going to go in 15% high. You're going to skin fucking 5% off that to make me look good back to the insurance company. Then you're going to, that added 10%, that's all yours that you're going to charge your fucking client. Yeah. Your client gets paid. Let's shut the fucking up and get the fuck out of here.
It's amazing.
It was, but the problem is that the nasty, any company that at the top, any hotel you walk into and the attitude behind the counter stinks, know the person at the top's a dick.
Yep.
If they're a sound, well-rounded, confident person at the top.
And that's the goal, is to find a nice little cubicle gig where everybody's sound.
Yeah.
Because there are ones out there. I've had gigs where they suck. And then I've had gigs where everybody's cool. And everybody kind of gets what we're trying to do. And there's, beers after work on a Thursday or whatever. Whatever it takes to make the atmosphere livable. If you're working with assholes, dude, get out. You don't need it. You can go somewhere else.
I joke about this of late on stage, is that I lasted... That the glorious thing about the construction industry was that you could actually physically have a route.
That's true, actually.
You could have
be like, if that's the way you fucking feel, let's fucking throw hands and see what's up.
And you wouldn't lose your job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was no need to go any further, and the situation was resolved.
Whereas in the cubicle environment with the HR, it's just backbiting, passive aggressive, until one person steps one toe over the HR line, and now that guy's fucked.
I'll tell you how it came to an end. I was hung out to dry basically on this claim that basically somebody wasn't happy, they were suing the company. I'd gone to the boss.
Happened.
The boss had overloaded himself with tons of work because he was getting commission from all these other offices. I'd gone to him like 10 times, but of course I went to him only walking physically to him speaking, right? Never wrote him an email.
Yep.
He hung me out to dry and put me on it, went straight to
He said, why is this the first I've heard of this?
Yeah.
And you're like, I told you about it last week. And you can't prove that.
He literally said that. And I went, you fucking motherfucker.
Tom, you're an amateur in the cubicle game.
So I
never would have fallen for that.
The day
put it in writing.
The day I jacked it was, he said to me, so I get this email written in red and about 10 other cunts CC'd.
Yep, and you don't know none of them.
So I'm like, red?
Yeah,
I'm quite literally it didn't even have a cubicle, it was just a desk. And my desk was not 7 feet away from his office.
Yep.
So I went, why the fuck
hey, Dave!
So I stood up.
This?
I stood up and I'm like, I went to open the door, it's locked. So I knocked on the door, I'm like, are you in there?
Yeah.
I said, what are you writing me emails for? Come
I
fucking
sit
talk
right
to
here.
me.
No, man.
Next thing, another email pinged. Right behind me.
Please observe the locked door policy. Please, if don't. Yeah, I'm
so
sure.
I became a professional stand-up comedian immediately at that point. So I just said it to him. I went, and I remember I was driving a fucking nice Land Rover too at the time, and he wouldn't let me bring it to work. He said, even though they had me on the road, it's better you have a company vehicle, Tom. That just looks, a bit too on the flash side. I swear, it's a black fucking Jeep that looks like nothing, but it's not. It's mine and it's fucking paid for and it's nice.
Yeah.
But he had a 5 Series BMW, which was absolutely fine to bring to a claim. But
so this is just him swinging his dick around.
And all I wanted to do is wrap my hands around his scrawny little fucking neck.
That's the thing, man.
But I just jacked on that day. I just went, no, we can't continue this.
See, I've worked for tiny companies, but I've also worked for giant corporations. And when you work for a giant corporation and you've got a boss that's a cocksucker like that, just wait it out. The organization will change every 8 months or so.
Okay,
so if you don't like your boss, just wait.
No, this wasn't big enough. They had a few offices around the country, but it wasn't big enough for him to move on.
Yeah, see, I'm currently working for an American corporation, a big one, and I like the situation I'm in right now, and I've only been there 3 weeks, man, and I've already gotten 3 emails from other departments that's like, hey, radical changes. This VP...
Really?
Well, yeah, because the VP level turnover is what it is, and then when that happens, no guy is going to take a job at a corporation as a vice president without bringing his tribe with him. So...
It's like his coaching staff on a team.
Is still there is out. Yeah, exactly. Like, thank you very much for the work you did, but I don't know you, so I don't trust you. And
right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's all the whole office culture. It's something.
Were you drawn to go back to, because you're from DC?
From DC, and I moved to Ireland. Well, I lived in Ireland for like a year and a half in 2003, and was just doing bullshit jobs.
Why, for the crack? You just said, fucking, I'm off to Ireland?
Exactly. Well, okay, so I graduated college in 2002 in DC, and I had a computer science degree, and the tech bubble burst in 2001. So I'm going for entry-level coding jobs, and I'm sitting next to a 45-year-old guy who I'm looking at you, I'm like, you invented programming languages. Why am I competing with you?
Yeah.
They'd hire him 10 times out of 10. And so... I went to college. You're supposed to go to college, so I went to college. And after college, like 6 months later, I'm stacking pallets in a warehouse for $10 an hour.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't need to go to college for this. So I figured, as long as I'm making $10 an hour, I might as well move somewhere. Go to another
make it fucking
country.
Anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't worried about making it, but like I knew I liked travel, and I knew I liked Europe, and I knew I only spoke English, so I figured
it was limited.
Yeah, exactly. So I moved to Dublin for and then I got I got a work permit, so I stayed here for a little bit, and I had a bunch of jobs. I had a cubicle job. I had this job, the most monotonous job I've ever had in my life. I was working in the forecourts in Dublin. For the land registry, because they were in the process of digitizing the land records of Ireland.
Which I dealt with a lot of them in engineering.
An assembly line of 14 people. It was the most mind-numbing job I've ever had, because every single person on that assembly line had one task and one task only. The first guy on the assembly line opened the leather folder of maps.
No.
Now these things are the size. These things are 3 feet by 3 feet, big maps. And so he'd open the leather folder. The second guy would affix a sticker of a barcode on the top right-hand corner. The third guy would write down the numbers on the barcode and then the name of the map. The fourth guy would take the map and put it into the giant scanning machine to digitize it. The fifth guy would fold the map back up. The sixth guy would look at the thing on the screen and say, that's blurry, do it again, or that's fine. Every single person had a job that could be done with like a half a calories worth of effort, just extending. You know that Simpsons episode with the dipping bird? With
the dipping bird.
Dipping bird. We were all dipping birds. We were all just yes, no, yes, no, yes, no.
How much were you drinking back then?
Oh my God, that's the only job I've ever had where I got high in the parking lot on the first day. That's the only one. And because I got to, like, we went in and we started at 8 o'clock and the guy showed me my one task. And then at 8:20, I was like, is this all you need me to do? And he goes, it's all you're going to do all day long. And then we went for, tea at 10:15, and the other guy I knew there was like, hey, I'm going downstairs for a smoke, you want to come? And I was like, you're goddamn right I want to come.
Yeah.
I had to do this straight up. Now, here's the thing, though. It was a boring job, but they were sound. The guys who ran it.
Okay.
You want to listen to your headphones all day? That's fine. You want to turn on the radio? That's fine. Just push the button when we need you to push the button. Nobody's gonna. You show up 20 minutes late? That's fine. You take too long for lunch? That's fine. Like, just get the widgets out. The problem is when you have a crappy one motion job. And somebody tries to act like your one motion is real important.
Oh, no.
Like, how dare you come in 15 minutes late? You're like, dude, we're not surgeons here. Nobody's dying. So everybody there was cool. And I've always had that attitude with jobs, man. If you got cool people around you, you can dig a hole and fill it up all day.
Oh, yeah.
If you like your boss and you like the 5 guys you're with and you can have some crack, that's great. If you have a really cool, challenging job, but everybody that's around you is an asshole, you're not going to last.
Yeah.
You're not going to make it.
And then, so you stayed, about a year?
Right, I forgot I was telling a story, sorry. Yeah, so I stayed about a year, and then I went back to the States, but in the time I'd been in Ireland, I met a girl.
Oh.
And I went back to the States, and I got back, and I had a couple of college buddies who were like, hey, dipshit, I hope you had fun in Ireland do you need a job? And I'm like, I do need a job. And they're like, can you sit in a cubicle? And I'm like, I can sit in a cubicle.
You want to see what I'm
doing?
doing?
So I got a job working for U.S. Airways as a.
I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
Field management. I was just. It was a crazy poker game of a job. I was in charge of. You know that phenomenon where if you sit on an airplane and you paid €92.50 for your flight, and you ask every single person that sits around you, and every single person paid a different price.
Yeah.
That was because of me.
Okay.
That was because that's the way airlines do their revenue. They divide it up into buckets, and they sell those. Each of those buckets has a price range, and when it's all sold out, that's why the flight tomorrow is $1,000, and the flight 6 months from now, the same flight is $100.
Okay.
We're trying to forecast demand and suck the most money out of people as they can. So I was doing that, and that was actually kind of fun because I was working for U.S. Airways, and we were at the time all airline fares in the U.S. were published through the same program. And so you had to set your fares, and you had to set your fares exactly the same as every other airline.
Okay,
Because none of us wanted to get an advantage on each other. We were all trying to make money. Now what I just said, is super illegal. That is price fixing.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That doesn't sound right.
Exactly. So we're not allowed to talk to each other. I wasn't talking to anybody in any other airline.
But then how is it allowed to see it all in the ether?
Because each one of us would publish our prices, right?
Okay.
And the airline I worked for had hubs in Philly and Charlotte. And another airline had hubs in Chicago and Atlanta. And if somebody published a sale and I forgot to match the sale, or I was at lunch, or I was drinking at lunch and I didn't notice, in about 4 hours from then, everybody, all of the other airlines, would cut their prices in my hubs. And I would just be sitting there watching the ticker tape going, why is everybody slashing their prices to Philly? Oh shit, I missed something. So it's like a poker game where we're not allowed to communicate with each other, but we are communicating with each other. And that's exactly what goes on. And so that was that cubicle job. But then I moved back to Ireland, and I got a series of cubicle jobs here. I started doing comedy at that time in the States. And then I moved back to Ireland in like 2007, and I don't think I met you too much longer than that. Like probably 2007, 2008.
Would have been 2008,
Yeah, I started gigging over here.
We probably met at a comedy slam or one of them fucking things and just started drinking. That's probably how it...
One of the ones down in, what is that shitty-ass student bar down by Trinity? Oh, Christ, it's right across the street from Trinity College. They used to have competitions upstairs.
Doyle's,
that's the one. That's the one.
That place is... How is that still open, like?
Because students go there and pee in the corners, dude. If you have a bar near a college campus, you're not printing money, that's your fault, I think.
Yeah, no, it is. Fucking hell. Because even I saw... Yeah, I was driving up the street by... I don't know what street it is, but it's all the way up along that street before you get to that crossroads. And I was looking at this bar, and whatever way I was going, I was like, I would not darken the fucking door of that kip. It just had all the signs of just a cunt bar. But then I started looking at the rest of the evidence, and I was like, 3 for 2 on Tuesdays between 4:30, and I was like, that's why.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
Students. I forgot. You forget the students are broke, but they want to drink.
Yeah.
Which is, like, that's still weird to me.
Are the Trinity students?
I went to college.
They're not broke.
In the States, and I couldn't legally drink until the second half of my third year in college.
Yeah.
So I spent 2.5 years in college, and I couldn't legally drink.
But you were drinking like fuck.
No.
Weren't you?
No. Because weed was so much easier to get than booze.
Okay.
If you wanted to get beer and you're 20 years old, and this is, I don't know what it's like now, but this is in the year 2000.
Right, the Big Frost.
Yeah, the year of the Big Frost. My weed dealer came to my door. I could just call him, and he came over. And to get beer, I'd have to find somebody older than me, or you could do the thing where you go out to some gas station in a shitty part of town, and you just wait for some guy who looks like he wouldn't mind making $5.
And no adult should be doing that.
No adult should be doing it. Have you ever been asked to do that?
Yeah,
me too. Have you ever done it?
No.
Me neither.
No.
And
because I don't know what fucker's watching me. Plus, look.
I've only you, dude. You've got the rest of your life to get drunk.
Yeah.
You're fine. Yeah. And that's the thing, too. The first time I said no, I felt like such a traitor.
Oh, yeah,
I felt like such a traitor. This kid was like, hey, man, because I came out with my, 16 cans of Smittix. He's like, hey, man, could you go back? He was Irish, so he didn't say it like that. But hey, man.
He probably fucking did nowadays, Jim. They all sound American now.
Could you maybe, and I was like, and 90% of my body really wanted to hook this kid up. Because... at my core, Tom, the reason I do comedy is because I'm a deeply insecure man and I want the teenagers to like me.
Yeah, of course.
I wanted to be the cool dude. But,
what do you think
I was just like, nah, I kind of smiled. I was like, nah, man, I can't do it. And I felt, I don't know. Part of it was like, I was like, man, I wish I could have hooked that kid up. And part of it was like, no, fuck you, dude. Nobody bought me booze.
No.
You go
raid your parents' fucking drink cabinet.
Figure out how to distill vanilla extract, my friend. That's what we did, and we didn't have the internet, so fuck you.
Jesus.
Yeah, you can fuck yourself up. Hey, don't do that, kids. You don't have any kids listen to this, dude. This is an adult males podcast if ever I've heard
to be fair, though, there are... we have, I won't say a plethora of women, but we do have women that listen to this all right. Because a lot of people, ladies and whatnot, listen to this abroad. In the States, a lot of American listeners and North American listeners, i.e., I would imagine a lot of expats and stuff like that. They listen to on the trains and stuff. So male and female, from what I can tell, in North America is about the same.
But I ain't the
kids. No children. Yeah. There's no fucking children listening to this. I mean,
they're all watching people play video games on YouTube.
Like the youngest guy came up to me at the plowing championship that I reckon could be, and he was just a young looking 18-year-old. He was like, "Hey, how's it going?" But
you ever do a college gig and get continually shocked at how young 18-year-olds look?
I did Trinity. I did a debate at Trinity a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I was almost going to do that. Then I was out of town. Holy shit, dude! They're babies.
They have.
I want to grab each one of them and be like, "Do not have sex with each other. You're not old enough yet. You can't handle it."
Just so ridiculously fresh faced. Now on top of that, they a lot of them probably came from really good homes with really good diets. It's Trinity.
Yeah.
Does
that make them more or less fresh-faced?
They were fresh-faced fuckers. Okay. Yeah, they were fresh-faced fuckers.
I hadn't seen any. Hardship puts miles on you.
Oh!
These kids had no miles.
No.
I gotcha. Okay.
Let them get through a fucking winter of the hard frost.
I had to scrape off the windscreen of my Land Rover every morning.
It was actually, do you know what? It was much more pleasant than the previous one that I did a couple of years previous, which was just a giant cunt fest. And it was just these... I suppose they were just privileged children, which is fair enough, but they were and they all thought they could change the world, and they knew everything at 18. And this debate was just, and they had all these scripted things, and they're going, and it was their own little echo chamber, and I had no business being there.
Yes,
but
yes. When people book me for that, I'm like, this is kind of your fault.
Yeah, but to be fair, this one totally different. It was mostly. I suppose
was it the Law Society? Because they're cool.
It was the Law Society, and there was
guy.
a really cool guy, Gavin. He works for FM 104. I'd done it felt like a podcast. It was a half an hour of saying pretty much what I wanted on FM 104 one Sunday night. And he says, "Would you do?" And I went, "I'll be honest with you, the last one I did, I wanted to choke out the entire room." And he went, "No, this is actually going to be sound." And it was myself and like they were kind of internet star people too, like in the way like Gizzelaugh.
Oh, right.
Owen Colgan was there.
Right.
What's his name?
A couple of them from the Trifax family.
But there was, and like in fairness, they'd all impeccably, like McGahern was there, they'd all impeccably written things about why it's very, 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 very important to be good looking, yay or nay. And I was on the yay side.
Yes.
Because,
who could be nay?
Oh,
who could be?
It didn't.
Who could disagree that it's important to be good looking?
But
like, come on.
It was.
Why does the field of plastic surgery exist if it's not important to be good looking?
But what I got up and basically I wrote nothing because I can't read this.
Writing for this.
I can't read this, and I went.
Just get up there and riff.
And I did this, but I just started shouting at him basically about. You'll be good looking for now. It was more about youth.
More like, yeah, exactly.
I turned it into youth, you know what I mean?
Man, I keep going to doing those college gigs, and that's what it turns. I'm like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this bit, and this bit, and 20 minutes in, it's just me screaming at a bunch of 19-year-olds because I'm jealous that they don't have a bald spot.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And all of a sudden, their hair hasn't turned grey on a Tuesday by accident. It's like, what the fuck happens now?
Yeah, enjoy that, you piece of shit.
We were talking, like, again, we were talking about the country ways of things, but you were a fan of sausages.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But because we went, like I said, we went up to on show, but we got fucked out. Well, we didn't get fucked out, but it was improv was taking precedence.
Somebody had a room. That's fine.
This is far less stressful actually, because had we done it, I knew there was an impending fucking improv group coming. It would have just been really quickly spoken things.
I have to think of a place and an occupation. No, yes, I wanted to go into the sausages because you were down at the plowing, and my favorite brand of Irish sausage was down there, and I couldn't make it down there. It's Barry John's sausages.
I got your sausages.
I forgot. But Barry John's sausages out of Cavan. 2 Christmases ago, we have
a lot of Cavan and Monaghan listeners.
Do you really?
Yes. Yeah.
Yo, y'all need. I'm deadly serious here. Barry John's out of Cavan. 2 Christmases ago, there was my wife brought me to the Christmas fair down at the RDS, and whatever, they're serving booze. I'll go. But there was this one stand there, this guy going, hey, sausage chunks. And I was like, and I took one bite, and I immediately bought 6 packs of them. And I never saw the guy again.
A drunk Jim wandering around with just a bag full of sausages, just going, "This might be the greatest day of my life."
It was wonderful. They make these caramelized onion sausages that you fry a pan of them, and your house smells delicious for 3 days. But they make all sorts of like goofy ass flavors. You know what they got this year?
Yeah.
Spice bag sausages.
I
haven't had them, but I can't wait to have them.
That's fucking lunatic.
I know. These guys are crazy. And you can never find you can find them like once every 3 years. They'll strike up a deal with Lidl, and I think they've got one going on right now. So I got to get down to Lidl
because I got sent some stuff by a good food company.
Cavan, don't fuck around, man. Barry John's, you guys are sitting on a gold mine there. Let's go.
So it's coming back to Lidl or Aldi, is he?
I think it's Lidl.
This isn't even sponsorship.
It's not sponsored. I don't care. It's just a thing that I really like.
I'm going to send him this episode and go, listen, send some stuff to Jim.
Yes, absolutely. Those red caramelized. Dude, they make ones with honeycomb in them.
What?
Dude,
pork and honeycomb.
That
totally sounds like it would work. It
sounds ridiculous.
But only the work of a madman, Jim.
And that's the thing. I bought the 2 packets of the ones I had, and then I just bought one. I was like, oh well, this is stupid. I'll try that. Just like a goof because they were cheap. Yeah. And they're not; those boys are not fucking around. They are serious.
I once had it's not a part-time job, but what it was a handy little gig when I was in college. When my sister had some great work. She worked in a lab. This lab in the factory where my dad manages, and they always had a lab, but it was never properly accredited. And straight out of college, my dad turned around to
like an evil scientist lab. What do you mean an uncredited lab?
No, accredited with basically, you can have your own lab and test the meat products, and yes, there is, and it's for more your own benefit to tell the consumer. Yeah. But if you have one that's accredited, you will get grants, and you get asked to do other work by other factories and stuff like that.
Stickers on meat and be like, "I'm blessing this meat," and
exactly.
It's good. Okay, I get it.
So to get it accredited, you needed a scientist to do all the work. So Dad was like, "Listen, straight out of college, I'll get you a job. But you have to work your whole life, get this lab sorted. So within 6 months, you got it accredited, and then they started taking in work from other companies. This is a beef factory, but there's sausage makers up the road, right?
Oh, right.
They even to the point the sausage makers built onto the side of the factory said, can we just process here? Because trucks come in here and it makes sense to send our stuff in trucks while there's a truck bay.
Why
and
not?
everything.
Yeah.
So they went, would you test our sausages for this product, this thing and all the rest of it? And they, after a while, it developed into, now we're going to have to cook, we're trying some mad sausages.
Yeah.
We need a scientific algorithm to work out which ones are good and all the rest of it. So would you do surveys for us with the workers and all the rest of it? And or, paid. She was like, well, I know my brother's a student and he loves sausages and he's home every 3 weeks.
Tom, you're not going to tell me you got a job taste testing sausages.
60 fucking pounds a pop. 60 fucking pounds a pop, Jim. Yeah.
I can't imagine you being happier. Oh my God.
Do you want to hear a happier job?
Yes.
Not long after that, when she got that place up and running, she got kind of headhunted to be a scientist for Bulmers.
Oh, fuck! I was about to say
Bulmer's
alcohol. I was going to say whiskey, but
Bulmer's own Tullamore Jew. That was 100 quid a pop every 3 weeks. I'd come home. I'd get drunk in
hiring?
I'd get drunk in the middle of the day, Jim. Because you could spit it out if you wanted.
Yeah, well, why would you do that?
Why would you do that?
You're getting paid to be there.
They had a bartending course in our college too, right? They had a bartending course in the college, and it was it was a full 3-year course, so you could do accounts.
3 years.
It was accounting and everything.
Okay, so it was bar management.
It was bar. Oh no, it was it was bar. Sorry, bar ownership nearly,
Yeah.
And a friend of ours had it, and quite literally, it wasn't open to the public at all. It was just a bar, but we had to go up there and drink for free
and make cocktails and taste cocktails.
Yeah, taste everything. But even
this
Guinness.
Is the worst Manhattan I've ever had in my life.
Yeah,
you wouldn't know vermouth from your hole in the ground.
Oh, it was horrendous fucking work. But I don't know how we just managed to source out these fucking work. But yeah, I used to get toasted, go into Bulmer's, and I'd drink and basically just have to sit in the lobby until she was finished work.
On that note, I'm walking to the next room to get a.
Get a can.
A beer.
Get a can. Leave it rolling. Leave it rolling. Yeah. This is very important fucking work, Jim, that you need to get a drink.
Can we get sponsored by Smittix too?
I'm going to see. Do you know what? I'm in talks with a drinks company. And like that, I would imagine all they're going to do is give me free drink for now. But I mean, I'll take that. I would take that. Also, while I have... Actually, do you know what? While Jim is in there, I need to talk about the Irish Wild Game Company, who are now... have come on as kind of semi whatchamacallit,
oh yeah?
Yeah. A friend of the podcast is now there. I won't mention her name whether she wants to be mentioned or not, but she is now
we'll call her Sarah,
head of PR and marketing for the Wild Irish Game Company. So if you need you name it, Jim, if you want it, they got it. But mostly it is typically venison, pheasant, and duck, and all the usual suspects like hare.
You're mad for your venison, aren't you, Tom?
But I like to get my own, Jim. I like to get my own. I acquire my own, and I will be. We're in September now. Come the end of October, I will be out to acquisition a couple of those delicious. I almost got one. I'm gonna show you a video actually after this. Driving home last night. I didn't hit the fuck.
Tell me it wasn't a road. Okay.
No, it wasn't.
Jesus,
it wasn't. I almost did.
I passed a roadkill. I know people from Virginia that would be like, "Well, I wasn't just going to leave it there. It was fresh."
Do you think I'd leave it there?
Really?
Man? Yeah. Listen. You can tell, Jim. You can tell from 10 feet away if this fucking thing has been there any longer than a couple hours. I swear to God.
Couple hours? See, here's the thing, Tom. I'm a cubicle monkey.
Yes.
The only thing I can compare this to is if I walked into the bathroom at work and I saw half a sandwich, but it was still in the package. In the bathroom at work. And what if I said to you, now listen, Tom, I've seen a lot of bathroom sandwiches in my time, and I can tell you if that sandwich has been there longer than 45 minutes, the mayonnaise starts to go yellow.
I believe you, Jim. You sound like an expert.
If I came out with an egg salad sandwich that I found in the Jacks, it was like, listen, man, you shouldn't do this, but I've got the eye. Come on.
Look, here's the thing. I'd give it a once over. It wouldn't be my first port of call, but I'd give it a once over.
All right. But that's not what these boys do.
They do not. No. It is Wild Irish Game that's acquired as a direct result normally of the call because it's just too many of the chaps.
Did you see that farmer in wherever or fisherman that dragged up the Irish elk skull?
No.
Do you not know what I'm talking about?
I've seen pictures of these
Google
elk
this
skulls
right now because the guy found it like a month ago or in the last month. It's a fucking 12-point elk the thing is
They
more
were
than 8
monsters
feet
back
wide.
then.
It's ridiculous. How did they survive on
They-
this little ass island?
You have to remember, Ireland is actually only UK is only about time and a half the size of the island of Ireland. Ireland is quite fucking big. There's just very few people. Like, it is just, like, 5 million people is fuck all per ratio of how they do it in the UK.
That's true.
5 million fit into Manchester.
Yep.
Manchester's the size of a good-sized farm. Think about that. Think about that.
You got any listeners in Manchester? Fuck your farm, Manchester.
But you know, you like,
no.
It is like,
No, you're right.
But they did. But we've done some family tracing, and the likes of my roots can't really be traced beyond Ireland. And we're as a direct result of...
Yeah, Tom, I can look at your stupid head and tell you that you've never been anywhere but Ireland.
Nah.
Like, come on.
No.
I mean, like, there's a touch of the Spaniard to you, Tom.
Yeah.
You got a little bit... You're a scholar of the Levant. Some Middle Eastern in you.
Is it not my protruding Roman nose, Jim, that you're thinking of?
How dare you?
But it's funny, you talk about anthropology. You go up the west coast of Ireland, or down southwest coast of Ireland, all you see is fellas with jet black curly hair. And you know what I mean?
All right, so I was in a pub in Galway. Tell me, is this true? Somebody tried to spin me a story like, you see all the black haired people in Galway? I was like, I guess, sure. And he was like, there was a Spanish Armada vessel that shipwrecked, and it changed the whole bloodline. Is that the story that we're going
it didn't
with?
Really, they were trying to. It was during what uprising was it? It was like the 17 or early 1800s. It was.
Yeah,
there's people now screaming.
I mean, and
that's why I never Google in the middle of a podcast because it's way more crack.
Be wrong anyway.
It's way more
Doesn't
crack.
matter.
I had Andrew Dornan on a couple of weeks ago, and he would be able to tell me if this is.
Yeah.
But it was.
I hate talking to people that know things.
Yeah, fuck that. And essentially, they were trying to get in to Ireland. They had guns. They had a whole lot to help Ireland with the uprising because they believed that Ireland should be fucking a republic. Right. Now, I'm guessing had they gotten their leg in the door, the Spanish weren't known for not being fucking.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You know,
ask the Mexicans if they think the Spaniards were there to help liberate them.
Bunch of conquistadors going, hey, we hit you.
Wow, you guys don't value gold, do you? Well, let me tell you who does.
Yeah. So
Europe.
Turns out they couldn't. But from what I remember, anyway, because I remember asking about this, a load of the Kerry footballers like walking around with jet black hair, like in fucking sallow skin. It didn't tally up.
Thinking they're so good looking.
Look at
That's the whole problem.
There you go.
Kerry footballers.
Yeah. They all speak loudly in public like Spanish students as well, just as they walk around the place.
But there's something hilarious about an Irishman telling an American that Kerrymen speak loudly in public.
Yeah, right. No, well, to be fair, you're one of the tamer Americans. Like you fit in well here. Plus, you have a surname like Elliott. There's some Australia fits in here.
Yeah, but I've been in Europe long enough that I've developed what is known as the inside voice.
No, you haven't been in Europe. You go to fucking Spain or France or Italy, them cunts are all roaring at each other.
Yeah.
Here, we have a small bit of fucking softer demeanour about ourselves.
Because you guys are all ashamed of everything. Like, I wouldn't want anybody to be here.
Exactly. And shame is a good thing, Jim. You let fucking that cat out of the bag and all of a sudden you got cunt written all over the place.
I agree, but man, there's a balancing.
Oh no, there is. And I think we're getting close. I think we're getting close to where it'll be, we'll be all right. I think a good, like, you go straight out the fucking gate with the level. Like, I remember we were in Sardinia a couple of years ago, and we were sitting down by the beach, and there was old guys like checking themselves out in like fucking any shiny surface, and you're going, dude, you are 95. Your balls are hanging out one side.
Don't you want to be like that though? I would love to be 88 years old,
but they all
with that giant bronze belly, and you buy a button-down shirt, but you only need the bottom button, and you just walk around and you look at yourself in the mirror and go, "Hey, still got it." Like,
I guess so, but do you know what I got from them? It was almost a level of fuck. You'd just be a fucking nightmare on every level.
Yeah.
On every level.
It's not like he was sound when he was 32.
I mean, this fella would push you out of the way to get to the fucking cubicle and the toilet. They all had this fucking I'm awesome from day dot kind of go. But yeah, as the story went, these Spanish, they couldn't get in as a direct result. They couldn't find an entryway in because they didn't have, fucking sonar or whatever. It's rocky as fuck.
Coastline's pretty tough out there.
And they couldn't. And it was
Skywalker.
It was far too late by the time they landed. The war had been lost. The uprising had been failed. But they were there, and there was no going back because it was like, well, there's loads of resources here. We're probably fucking mercenaries.
Yeah.
Let's fucking stay here. There was bagloads of fucking land to work with, so they just
stayed.
They just stayed.
And now everybody on the West Coast got dark hair.
A lot of them do, yeah, as a direct result.
This is like that scene in True Romance where Dennis Hopper talks about the Moors conquering Sicily.
Yeah.
There you go. It's exactly like that, Jim. It's exactly like that. But I mean, I don't know what we had. Well, I wonder what we did have pre-Vikings, pre-fucking all sorts. What would the kill like the? But by all accounts, my like say the name on Oman. It's directly It's directly derived from the word on Vaken, the bear.
The bear.
As a direct result.
Is that why you call yourself the bear?
It had happened for tax purposes. You know yourself. But. I've told this a million times on the podcast, and essentially it came. I was a nickname from years ago because I was just as rough as fuck.
I believe that.
I was even rough from where I was from, and it was playing with lads from the rugby team who were all kind of townies and stuff, and they just couldn't work out how the.
Why is he so angry?
It wasn't even that. But it's just stories that I thought were normal, like just fucking saw a 40-stone pig tried to kill me during the week, so I fucked him up with a lump hammer, and we're all
killed a pig with a hammer.
Yeah, I actually did, but
this is like a guy I know who's from Sweden, and he's from deep North Sweden.
Okay, he's a culture. Is he culture Swedish?
He tells this story about how during the winter, what the adult males in the town used to do is they'd take a barn that had nothing in it, and they'd leave a bunch of rotten apples in there.
Right.
Because reindeer would go for that.
Okay,
and so
right.
our reindeer would go into the barn to get at the rotten apples, and a guy would take a little hand axe and go in and shut the door behind him.
And
that was fun.
Hand axe is known as a hatchet. Jim.
Hatchet, sure, fine. Don't care.
That might.
What are you, an Iroquois? Like, that's, come on.
But I tell you, I know, I'm pretending like I know about these things because my birthday was last Friday, and as a birthday gift.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. As a birthday gift, my wife got me a day course in a forge making my own axe.
Oh, I'd say
I wept. I wept.
You were hard for 3 days.
Oh, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. When I was just opening, I'm like, oh, no. Because, you get these, in the day in the span, I'm like, oh, God. But I knew, she never does that shit anyway, but at the same time, I was opening it up, and I'm going, down in Russborough House, what
the hell is Russborough House?
And
you're thinking like,
no, I know where it is.
Tell me it's not a seaweed wrap.
And I know where it is, and it does have all that kind of stuff. But then I get down the bottom, it's like a day in a forge, basically axe making course. You're going to you'll be in there from the morning all the way through to.
So basically, that means you're in a sweaty ass place, and you're just beating a piece of metal into a shape that you want.
Yeah, learning how to. Well, a lot of it is you see because we did
beat it, and then you cool it, and then you heat it, and then you beat it, and then you cool it. And
what I get intrigued by, and we'd see. I loved metalwork in college or in school because it was very, very handy in that obviously to teach about combustion engines and all that, but it was very, very scientific in the molecular structure, how it changes through to heating different metals from different parts of the world. If you combine an alloy to make a good steel, all these, and that actually, and I don't know, probably had I gone into that.
See, man, I would have loved to learn that shit.
Had I gone into that, I would say that sort of science rather than actually civil engineering, which I liked, but it was like, I was okay at it.
Sure.
But I think had I gone into that side of things, given that my other three siblings are all scientists, I'm guessing there must be something there that has was piquing my interest when it came to.
You guys deal well with formulas.
It was. I was into the kind of molecular structure of metal and all that. It wasn't because you could make a sword. I wouldn't care if all you made was a nail.
That's
you know what I mean?
Probably a big part of the reason you're into cooking. You ever hear somebody that's really into cooking and they can explain it like a scientist does?
Yeah.
And they talk about. Like, they don't talk about cooking.
Oh, the proteins break down. Yeah.
And what happens inside the meat and stuff like
that.
That
is, and that's why I do these 12-hour smokes and stuff. Because it blows my mind a different. Because I remember there's one I was doing a brisket, and it was a 12 hours I was setting for because it was a big fucker, and I had the temperature. And I remember reading this thing, and it was like, be prepared for the stall in the temperature, right?
What does that mean, the stall?
So you want the temperature to go all the way up to internally American temperature, 125 degrees internally, right?
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden it'll hit like. No, I think it's more. It might be about 150, but then it'll hit like 122.
So it's linear.
And it just bang!
And
it sits there for 2 hours, and you're like, oh, fuck me, does the barbecue need to heat up more? Or does the smoker need to heat up?
Like, no.
And they're like, no.
Wait.
What's happening at that point? And it's to do with how the proteins are meeting the smoke at that point, and they're basically having a word going, who's going to give way here?
Yeah.
Because we're a tough-ass piece of meat. You think you can actually fucking break us down with the chemicals?
He's just like, look, dude, I'm going to be here for 8 hours.
Yeah.
So as long as y'all want to hold out, that's cool with me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be right here.
And so that So that's where I'm going on. That was probably one of the best birthday gifts I've ever gotten.
So so I was thinking about you actually about a month ago because I was I was at a wedding in France, and a friend of mine, whatever. Here's the thing. I had a big scratch up the middle of my forehead. Mm-hmm. Just a scratch, not a real cut. Okay. But it was a scratch, and I forgot that I had the scratch, and I got out of the shower in the morning, and I dried my face with a towel, and I did it really hard, so it was bleeding a little bit. So now I've got this scab. I tore the scab off. So now I've got this cut on the middle of my forehead. It's ugly. And I'm going to this wedding, and there's going to be pictures, and I'm like, fuck, I don't want to look like this. And Lisa, my wife, hits me with, she goes, well, come here to me. And she gets the powder out of her purse, out of her makeup bag, and she hits it up. And it worked perfectly. Tom, it worked perfectly. Yeah. And from that, I was like, oh, this is brilliant. But it was kind of warm. So, like, at a couple times during the wedding, I would look at myself, I'd go to the bathroom, I'd look at myself in the mirror, and then I'd go to Lisa and go, hey,
touch me up.
Hey, can I? No, I wouldn't say touch me up. I'd be like, let me get that powder off you.
That's a slippery slope, Jim.
Let me get you, hey, can I borrow your concealer there? And I'd take that back to the bathroom, and I had the nice little cotton pad that comes with it, and I'm like, that looks great. Oh yeah, and I'm blending the sides in, man, and it looked great. And I was thinking about that bit that you did about dudes wearing makeup. Tom, I think we're wrong.
Do you think so?
I think so. And here's another thing, because about a month after that happened, when I was realized, like, oh my God, there's actually like. There's a utilitarian advantage to having powder in your thing. You wouldn't believe. You have a shitty zit on your face. You do TV. I do TV. Yeah. When you have a problem, you cover that shit up. Or if you had a job interview or something. So, okay. And then a month later, I was at my last job, which I left over the summer, but everybody knew it was my last week there. And so we all went out. We got hammered that night. We had a great time. Good. And everybody got pissed. And then the next morning, we all knew we had to come to work. And so everybody was there at 9 a.m. and everybody was in rag order. Yeah. And I was in bits. My face was like melting off me. I did this thing. I wear contact lenses. Yeah. But I did that thing where I'm going to wear my glasses today thinking that they'll cover some of my face. And I said, and the women I worked with...
You wear quite thin glasses. Oh, no, you've thick ones.
I can't. I'm blind without my contacts.
Really?
Yeah, I'm blind. But I was wearing thick glasses. And the women in work were like, I see you're wearing your glasses today. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to cover my face because I'm drunk. And the woman looks at me and goes, yeah, thank God for makeup. And I was like, oh, you motherfuckers. You can drink as much as you want the night before, and you can just paint your face the next day.
It's like, true.
They have this advantage. Listen to me. Have you ever heard of contour makeup? Do you know what that is?
I have.
You can take a person with a perfectly flat face, and you can just draw cheekbones and a strong jawline on them. And as a man, I'm jealous that I don't have that advantage. I'm as vain as any other person on the planet. I want to have all of the tools at my disposal. Do you understand? I want to be able to put concealer on my nose to make it look smaller.
I know, but at the same time, like, here's the other thing. At what point, like, say... Like, girls would often look at us and go, you motherfucker, you can just wander out into society.
Yes, we can. But I'd look better if I could do something with my stupid, ugly face.
No, you could. No. What are you going to do? Paint fucking cheekbones onto yourself?
I would love if I had cheekbones that just popped from across the room.
Jim, you're as cute as a button regardless.
Yeah, stop that. This is the thing. This is why women hate us. Because they spend so much time working on themselves, and we can roll out of bed with a goddamn... having walked into a bee's nest the day before, and look at ourselves in the mirror and be like, aha, and like flex at ourselves and be like, we look great.
But you have a story to tell on your face, Jim. If you look like everybody else...
You're not going to look like everybody else. I'm going to look
washed
like a
out
better version of me.
No, you won't, Jim.
Yes.
You'll just end up looking like the lady next door to you in the fucking cubicle next door. And both of you will just, And then where's your soul gone? At least you should have left that scratch on your fucking head because you would have had conversations to talk about. You could have lied through your teeth. And
what am I going to say? A bear tried to fuck me last night, like one of your stories. I had to beat a pig to death with something called a lump hammer, whatever the fuck that is. A lump hammer. What's that? Just a stick with a piece of metal on the end of it? It's not even shaped?
It's not what hammers work out with.
No, because it's usually shaped. It's got
I don't know why they call it a lump. It's down to the weight and the ratio of handle to head.
Ratio of handle to head. Okay, well that's about what we're about what we're talking about. Anyway, Tom.
So before we wrap up, where can we'll be caught together down in Galway?
We'll be down in Galway. I'll be in the Laughter Lounge the weekend of the 17th through 19th of October. Hit me up on Twitter at Jimpetuous. I'll see you all around.
Thank you very much, Jim.
And boom, there you have it. The fantastic Jim Elliott. Do follow Jim on all social media platforms. I'll put the links again in the description of this of Jim. You know where he's going to be playing now. So you'll see him in Galway, you'll see him in the Laughter Lounge. Keep an eye out on that guy. He's fantastic. Also follow me on all social media platforms, whether it be Facebook, Twitter or Instagram. Tom O'Mahony Comedy. O'Mahony. If you're reading it on your phone right now, it's O'Mahony without the E. Tom O'Mahony Comedy would find me pretty much on all those. If you want to follow the podcast directly on Twitter, I just have a Twitter account for it. If you want to give it a look. It's Buckshot Podcast. Buckshot Pod. If you need to send me a long form, a message of any sort, but you can message me on any of those really. But if you want to send me something long form where you have a right old gripe or you just need to get something off your chest or you need to talk to Tom, do feel free. Write me any shit. If something's fucking melting your brain and you don't have anybody in your life to fucking talk to, shoot me a message. This motherfucker will reply to you. No worries. Go to buckshotpodcast@gmail.com. You'll see that in the Twitter page anyway. Or, you know what I mean, go to my website, tomomahony.com, go to the contact and shoot me there. Well, don't shoot me, Jesus. Also, on my website, you'll also see there's a couple of more gigs after being added to it. A couple changed around. I won't be playing the Bowery on October 24th. It is switched to Dolan's in Limerick. So Limerick, I'm coming your way. Galway, I'm going to be all up in you. Come the last week in whatchamacallit in the last week in October. And also I'm going to be in the Limelight in Belfast on the 25th. I'll be there with Phil Nichol. But give the old fucking Facebook page or the website a look, tomomahony.com. Again, I'll put it in the old description of this. Click on through, have a gander. You'll see you'll see pretty much gigs. I'm adding gigs to it all the time. And that's about the size of it. Now, if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, don't forget to give us an old rating. Good rating now. Don't be giving any of that fucking old shite ones, because I learned nothing from that. Nobody will learn anything from that. Just go straight ahead and give it a tasty rating of 5 stars. And if you want to write me something, do write me an old comment below. I love the old comments. Everybody loves the old comments. And the comments that are down there are fucking smashing. Basically, essentially, why you do that, it's not just so you can shout at the internet or fucking pump my ego at all. Really what it is, the more ratings that come up on a thing, that's how it pops up in more people's timeline. That's essentially it. It's not down to listens or downloads or anything. It's actually down to how many people leave good comments. There you go. That's the bare bones of it. So, right, you go on away. Have a smashing weekend. And feel free to send me on any funny old pictures you might be up to on the old Instagrams. Right, enjoy yourself, youngsters.